Always remember, your focus determines your reality. Stay close to me, and you'll be safe.
Hey guys, how you doing? So in this video, I just want to go over my experience with how my GA championship was. Was it a good experience? Was it bad? The pros and cons to it. So let's go talk about that for a little bit. So before we even go into anything, let me swap this over to my display capture and we can hop into my opponent's stats. So my first round, I had a guy named Star-Lord. If you can see here, pretty much everything is similar. Zetas, he has 5 more than me. Even gear 12s were pretty similar. He does have like 12 more, but I do beat him in the mod game for the plus 20s, plus 15s, and 6 emods. I didn't realize I had this many 6 emods, but that's pretty cool to know. So that was our first one we fought. The second one we fought is down here. His name is Ming, the Insatiable. And this guy's pretty cool. He's a nice guy. He gave me a little bit tips and tricks of what I should be using in the future. So yeah, his Zetas are like almost identical. I have like one more. Gear 12s are even pretty spot on as well. I have 5 less. But then again, I do beat him in some of these mod categories. But look at this. He has a lot more plus 15s than me. And then for the last one here, our last round we went up against the guy named C3PO. And keep in mind, all of these are pretty big character GP gap. So that one's 600k. The other ones were like 300 to 600k as well. And then Zetas here, very similar there on the gear 12, and mods are pretty much the same as well. So now that we understand who we're going up against and like how my things were, let's chat about what I thought about it. Was it a good experience? Was it a bad experience? Stuff like that. So the bad experiences that I've had were with, having, for me as a 3.8 million GP player, having to set 8 defenses is a lot for me to handle. So what I had to do in some of my zones here, this is my first one I did versus Star-Lord, my first round. I had to just place really garbage tier teams. I mean, Kira, without even a Nest, L3 event, or Chewie is really bad on defense. And these are like the scoundrels I had left over. And then also, same goes for my Jedi. Just throwing in some sort of team that, hoping that it gets a hold, but most likely won't because of my front wall. And then back here, they're okay teams, First Order and Karth. But it just is really hard. I can place like 6 really good defensive teams, but there's going to be at least 2 that are not going to be very good at all. I do have Darth Revan though, so that kind of helps out quite a bit for defending. So I just want to, one of the points I didn't like in my bad experience with this was just not being able to have enough for offense and being really spread thin. But I guess that is like what we're like trying to get at here when it comes to GA championships. But I really wish, for me as a 3.8 million GP player, I didn't have to set that many tunes or that many teams. I think it would be the best actually if it was 7. That way it's pretty close with what I have to set and which ones I have to save on offense. I think that'd be a lot better in my case. And then you also got to take into consideration that I am a Division 2 player fighting Division 1 players. So another thing I hope they change about this is changing it so you're only matched with people in your same division. But I guess as we saw in the mods and all the comparing and contrasting, we're pretty close in almost every aspect of the game. So that's pretty cool. So one of the positives I've gotten from this is how much more competitive this is, like over than like the normal one that we had in the past. But this one, man, this is so much more competitive, and that's in a good way. This isn't a bad competitive. This is a good competitive, guys. Just the fact that a 3.8 can compete with a 4.8 million GP player is really good, and that just goes to show how well the matchmaking is. And I'm not saying the matchmaking is 100% right. For me, I am pretty lean with what I do in this game with my roster, so I am able to compete with some of these high-end players. And I know that there's some people lower end that are getting Sandusky a little bit, which kind of sucks. But I get that. But I think for the most part though here, they're at a really good point with matchmaking, and they only need to tweak a few things to make this almost perfect. And very quickly, let's just see the defenses here, because I find them to be almost similar throughout everything I've fought in so far. So always gonna have Darth Revan Malak to have to fight here. Night Sisters are something I gotta fight as well. Same with Bounty Hunters in First Order. Back here, Kira and Grievous. I have some problems with Kira, but I think Grievous is a little bit tougher for me. I don't have a whole, like, another counter to that team. It's kind of hard to kill, so I have to bring in 2 teams. And then back here, Karth teams aren't bad, and then this is Bad Rebels. So that was the first one. This next round, I did misplay a couple battles here. I did get bad RNG with my Malak counter using Padme, but all in all, I think this is still a pretty close matchup. Same thing, Kira, Django. Behind there is Grievous team with the Night Sisters. I did misplay Night Sisters pretty bad, so I did lose kind of that. But even then, I don't think I would have been able to beat his Grievous team. I didn't have a counter for that, and that is a pretty solid Grievous. And then down here, Darth Revan, like I said, we bad RNG into Darth Revan teams, a lot of dodges, and then Karth team, no problem there. And then Newt, I did use my Ewoks versus Newt, so that's pretty cool to see. And then I'm not sure, I think this was a Wampa Rex team here versus the First Order. And then in the last matchup I had versus 3PO, pretty similar. A lot of Night Sisters, a lot of Grievous teams, and I'm finding Grievous to be very hard to fight here. With being Gear 13 in the game now, and a Gear 13 Grievous could potentially go on defense, that just kind of scares me a little bit, because I don't know if I have too many counters for that. I guess I could save CLS to use against that, but really, it's going to be a tough one to kill. So we have that right there in the bottom. And then in the top here, another Kira team. And then Darth Revan. I was able to one-shot the Darth Revan, so that's pretty cool to see. And then Kira, I got stuck behind Nest. Got to still figure out some of these teams here that I'm countering. And then Karth and another Geos. Geos can be beaten pretty easily with the Ewoks. But in this matchup here, there's Droideka. You got to watch out for the Droideka here. He can pretty much just one-shot any of your Ewoks, so that's kind of scary. But besides that, we had in the back and the bottom, First Order and a Bounty Hunter team. Very easy counters for me. Nothing to be worried about there. So now that I won 2 out of the 3, I was able to place in the 2 to 4 reward category. So what does that include? That includes 475 of these tokens, 1 Zeta, 2 Omegas, 40 of those slicing parts, 35 there. And then cool thing here, and what I want to shoot for almost every GA championship, is at least getting 2 to 4 place, because here you can craft an entire 6E mod here, which is amazing to see. And I was able to craft one today, and I got a 21, so that's pretty cool to see as well. But yeah, these are pretty good rewards. I'm not too worried about these. First place rewards are pretty good as well. You get 2 Zetas and then a little bit more of the tokens. Another thing I want to mention here is the rewards for each of these leagues. I'm not too sure how, like, if I like these or not, and I'm not sure like what they're trying to get out here. I just don't know if like spacing them out from 1 to 100 and then 100 to 500 is the best, and then 500 after that plus is whatever, I don't know if I like that too much, because there's a lot of players in these divisions, and if they're like tied in points, they're gonna just be in the same kind of category, and then what goes from there? Is it just the GP difference that gets the higher rewards? Like, I don't know what happens there. But at Bronzium you get 1100. That's what I placed. It's not that bad of a decrease. From my 500 plus to the first to 100 is only 200 different tokens. That's not bad at all. Chromium does bump up quite a bit. So as you go up in these leagues, it does get a lot more competitive with the rewards. And then Chromium, let's just go back to here, 1900 for first to 50. So now I'm seeing a little bit more diversity here. 50 to 200, a lot better rewards. 200 to 500, pretty good rewards, and 500 plus, okay rewards, nothing too crazy here. Erodium, the same structure as Chromium, so that's pretty good rewards. 2900 for first to 50, not even bad for 50 to 200. So I'm trying to get somewhere at least the top 500. I did, as I said before, I misplayed some of mine, so I'm hoping next time I can play it better, get my counters down, try to place better. And then in Kyber, very good rewards in Kyber. First place is Oh, 5,500, man. That's just crazy. You can buy so much stuff there with the tokens there. And it now spaces out to 2 to 10, and then 11 to 25, 26 to 50, 51 to 200, and 201 plus. So Kyber, oh, that's going to be intense for Kyber. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get there, but hopefully I do one day. That'd be pretty cool to see. But yeah, that's just the rewards for GA championships. So just to wrap this up, guys, I think the GAC is in a good spot here for matchmaking. I don't think it's bad. I think it's a little bit more, opposed and not very good for the people that are lower than me. I think they still got to fix out quite a bit of things here, but I think what they're trying to get at here is pretty good. It's very close to what I think it should be. The matchmaking is really close. I like all the things they implement, the Gear 12s, Zetas, the mods, all that stuff is really cool to see, and I find it a lot better and a lot more fun than the old Grand Arena was. So let me know if you guys are on the same boat as me with how this first GA went down. Let me know in the comments. If you want to see some changes, let me know as well. It'd be cool to see your guys' ideas and your thoughts on this. But that's it for today, guys. If you liked the video, make sure you give it a like, share with others, and sub for this type of content. If you want to join Discord, it's in the description link. And also, same thing goes for Patreon. If you want to check that out, go check that out. That's it for me, though, today, and I will see you later.
Nice.